Okay. Good morning, everybody, and then good afternoon. So, depending where you join me from. So, I'm hoping you're having a great day today. So, a very, very important topic. So, hopefully, you are all okay for me to join. And then I can see there's already a couple of people joining. That's great. So, we're just going to wait maybe for a few seconds and then we can make a start, right? That's good. Let me just adjust a little bit my camera here. Yes, you can see me well now. Okay, excellent. I'm hoping that you're doing well and then you're having a fantastic Sunday. And as usual, we are catching up. That's definitely one of the best part of my day. Catching up with you there. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, just waiting a little bit just to get people to join, and we can start this very interesting conversation. And I can say one thing. So if you can, please do share this conversation. Share this conversation with people you know. So those of you watching me live, but also if you're not watching me live, still share the conversation later, right? So that'd be good. But the best thing when you're watching live is that you can ask questions, and because I'm live, I can respond to you straight away, isn't it? And that's brilliant. That's excellent. Okay, that's good. So we're gonna make a start because I always like to respect the time for people that are on time and join me when it's supposed to start. So we're just gonna make a start right now, right? Just to say again, officially, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining me from. So you know me by now. So my name is Tony Teo, founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa. Your Africa Clean Energy Champion. Yes, I am. And not just Africa, but also clean energy champion across the world. And then, first of all, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And I'm hoping you're going to have great time, great fun, learning while enjoying as well, having a good time, right? And there is one thing that you can do definitely is to make sure that you subscribe to this channel if you've not done it so yet. So definitely do that and share that across. Not only subscribe, but also leave us your comment so that we know what you are thinking, right? And we can see as well how we can address it. And then sign up and press the bell notification. Why? Simply because when there are new videos like the one we're having just right now, right, you are notified and you can attend and you can come and ask your question. And the great thing is, usually what I do is the first person that asks a question during the live usually get the chance to go for one-on-one with me for a much more extended session, right? An hour, let's put it that way, free of cost, right? So, and that's the way we like to contribute. Now, let's start talking about our topic. Yeah, let's start talking about that. First of all, so we're going to be talking about the EU Fit for 55 climate roadmap that they delivered. They delivered that on the 14th of July. And I'm sure some of you may be asking, hey, Tony, you said that you are the CEO for Renewables in Africa. What is that you got to do with EU? That's Europe. That's fine, true. However, let me remind you something, right? So we are living in a very connected world. So what happened in any part of the world, some shape or form will affect us wherever we are in the world too, right? So we carry living in such an era, right? First of all, technology is one of them because I'm sure some of you are watching me, I don't know, somewhere in Colombia, in Europe, America, yeah, or in Africa, of course, Australia, it depends. So we are definitely living in a very connected world these days. And what happened in one part of the world will affect, especially the EU, which is still one of the main player, yeah, across the world. And that will have obviously an implication in other countries outside of EU. And this is also what I want to talk about, right? So that's why it's important for us to have this conversation. Yeah. So don't ask me why talking about a topic that seems to only focus on Europe now. Emission don't have borders. Put it that way. You don't need a passport, for emission, for CO2 emission to jump from one country to another. So that was just a light-hearted comment, yeah, for me. But yeah, they release a package, right? So Fit for 55. First of all, why Fit for 55? What does that mean? Yeah, that's a question you may want to find out. So it's simply because the EU has enshrined a new law saying that they want to reduce the emission level by 55% by 2030, and that is compared to the 1990 levels. So that's why they say Fit for 55. That's the way they call it. It's not that there's 55 countries in Europe these days. Yeah. And why is it important for you? Simply because if you're watching me, whether you are an investor, whether you are a business, whether you are a professional, what you need to know is if you are interested by renewables energy, energy efficiency, or the green economy, as we call it, right? It is very much regulation driven, right? Usually it starts by a vision that materialize as a target that will evolve as a regulation, and then money gets attached to that, and then implementation plan. So that's how it affects you, right? Depending where you're coming from, as I'm telling you right now, you're going to be affected by this policy. And the idea is how, and this is what I'm going to tell you more about, right? So hopefully it makes a little more sense for you. And also, this is what we do, because at Renewables in Africa, yes, we are online media platform. We raising awareness about issues related to matters related to renewables energy in Africa and across the world. And when there is an important step like the one I'm just talking about today, it's also a duty to tell you what we think, right? And then we've done it for the last 5 years now that the company has been around. And for me, much more than that, because I've been in the sector for more than 10 years. So I've been involved in projects definitely in Europe, in Africa, and also in America. So it gives us a perspective, right, on how things unfold, right? And this is what we're going to be sharing with you today. Now, let's now talk a little bit more about the topic per se, shall we say. So as I say, the EU now has enshrined in law the emission reduction target that they have, 55% by 2030 compared to 1990 level, right? And it is called the EU climate law. So it's important for you to understand that, yeah? So it's now a law. And when a law is passed, it means that now this is going to be driving a whole set of action to see how this law can be met. And don't forget that why is it important? And that's the first point I want to raise for people to understand. How do they get involved? We are all talking about as a world to reduce emission levels so that the temperature can only increase by 1.5 degree Celsius, right? By the end of the decade. But if we look at that, we need the biggest polluters. We're all asking for bigger polluters to take more responsibility, right? To be more accountable for what they're doing and always to cut their emission down, right? So the biggest polluter, I'm just going to give you the top three. The top three, then you have China, definitely, the US, and then the EU. The EU is third with about 8% of emission that they're emitting. That's why when they're having such a big announcement, a big policy, we need to be looking at that, right? So it's good for you to understand that. But now this has been passed as a law, 55% reduction compared to 1990 level. So they released that on the 14th of July. And that roadmap that they call Fit for 55. And this is a set of about 13 directives. Yes, you have 8 of those directives which were already existing there. They have been reinforced, and now there are 5 that I knew. 5 that I knew, and you definitely want to pay attention to that. I'm not going to go through all of them because it would take such a long time. But maybe what we can do next week is to talk about the impact for businesses, especially businesses outside of Europe. How do they impact them, right? But just for you to know that those are Fit for 55. It's a set of 13 directives, and then 5 are new, 8 have been renewed, right? So, and this is what we call it, and this is part of the European Green Deal, which is another major step, right? That's sort of the big vision that they've delivered. And Fit for 55, it's part of it. And this package of measure, it looks to transform fundamentally the European Union, right? So, and touch on pretty much every area of economic productivity, whether you're talking about the citizen, the way they would heat their home, the way they would travel, they would commute, to the manufacturing practices. So it actually cuts across board. And this is actually quite, it's impressive. And there are lots of measures that have been taken. So let me give you some of them, which I believe are quite important for you to know and understand. And also after that, I can take you my take on it, right? So what is that I believe? Bro, first of all, you should and would know that, the best thing actually I can do is, as I'm talking about those measures, I can let you know what I'm thinking so that at least it's connected. Otherwise, I will talk about a whole set of things and you may not remember what I said initially. So one of the measures that I want to talk about, as I say, I'm not going to go to all of them because there's quite a lot to cover. I will need hours. But I'm just going to give you a key point, and then and again, it depends. If you really like it, you leave me a comment. Maybe I can do another session and we can go a little bit deeper. I've already said that I want to talk about the one covering businesses. Yeah, but maybe there's some other area that you want me to discuss. So leave a comment. Definitely leave a comment and share. Yeah. So that's good to know. And first of all, even right now, you can already send me questions. But as I say, back on track. So some of the measures. So first of all, you should know that in terms of transport, right? So Europe has announced and is confirming in this package that combustion engine, will not be produced within the EU bloc by 2035. Yeah, and in fact, they even including a tax for petrol and gasoline fuel. In fact, I think there's a minimum tax which is obviously increased by a significant margin, and also tax of kerosene, which is obviously used for aviation. So clearly, they're taking a bold step to remove all of those combustion engines, all of those petrol cars that we have. Yeah, but the question then you want to ask yourself, and that's one of my take on it is, okay, it's good to be having those new vehicles that's going to come. It's going to be sort of a big push now for electric vehicle, you could imagine, right? And also low emission alternative fuel to be used for vehicles. It's going to be a big push for that. Now the question becomes, what happened to the existing market? And this is one thing you need to know. Most of the time, the secondary market for those vehicles is outside of Europe, an emerging market. This is how, some of you may get impacted if they're not in EU. So what does that mean? It means that you do not want the EU to just come and dump all those vehicles, at your in your country. So clearly, something needs to be looked at there, and people want to be obviously partners of Europe may want to pay attention to that. That's one aspect. So combustion engines will stop by 2035. Another area which has been very much reinforced, right, is the ETS, which is the EU emission trading system, which is the first but also the largest carbon market, right? And that's quite impressive. So what does that do? So first of all, the emission trading system was created in 2005, right? And how does it work? It simply works by placing a cap on the carbon emissions that companies within the EU are allowed to produce a year, right? And if the company goes over, they are fine. Yes, they are fine. Now, they can buy allowances from other people in the ETS. If they are polluting more, they can buy allowances. That's how they can cover and avoid being charged. So you can see it creates a whole big market that people can use. And also the cap that company needs to meet is actually going down across the entire carbon market unregularly. So basically, with this new package that they've released, the cap is even lower significantly, right? Just to force company to be able to meet those objectives. So the ETS system is definitely reinforced there. And another measure that is very, very important for people to understand is what we call how do you call it? Yeah, the carbon what's the name again? Yeah, the carbon adjustment mechanism. So the idea behind this initiative is to protect the EU industry from carbon leakage. What does that mean? Some companies, they will actually, European company, they will leave the EU to go in countries where there's cheap cost. A cheap cost, why? Because those countries have lower environmental standard. Now, the carbon border adjustment mechanism, right, is actually looking at creating a level playing field for carbon emissions, obliging people that produce in third countries, to respect the rules set in the EU by placing a tax, right, to allow them to pay the EU ETS carbon price. So that means if you're an EU company having, for example, a factory, I would say in Kenya, in Mozambique, you think that, okay, I'm just going to shift a big part of my production over there because the environmental standards are lower, and I'm going to manufacture parts that I'm going to bring back into Europe. Hey, I'm going to lower my costs. According to what he says, not anymore, because there's going to be this tax, which going to obviously set the bar straight and obviously create the level playing field. So this is how you people will get affected. So there's a whole range of measures like that, right? They have been created. You have the Renewable Energy Directive, where there has been an increase, right? So instead of having a 32% renewable energy reduction by 2030, it's now 40%. So you have the Energy Efficiency Directive, right? So instead of having 33% improvement of the overall energy efficiency, now it is talking about a 36 to 39% improvement. And the key things, which is what I like, is that it's binding. The renewable energy target is not binding, but the energy efficiency is binding, right? So that's good to know. And obviously they're talking about the hydrogen part. Hydrogen has been mentioned, but it's not been developed yet, because the part covering hydrogen would be properly developed, I believe, by December, according to what they have said there. So what is that I believe, right? I would say it's a very bold ambition that has been set there, right? So to many respects, it's quite admirable. So and I've listened to some people that criticizing the plan. I definitely think it doesn't achieve everything that needs to be done out there. Definitely think that's quite obvious. However, should we consider it's a step? Definitely is a step forward. Yeah. But now one of the key questions you want to see, if you're going to be placing additional tax for polluters, right? Now, usually a company, when you give them more tax, they have to pass it down to consumers. So this is the thing. So I wasn't quite sure how much protection, consumer protection, this new package, it's including, right? How much of it, how many measures are included so that costs are not just passed down to consumers, right? So this is very, very important. That's one thing, and I would say, and also it's important to keep obviously the pressure at countries level, but also company level. And one of the criticism that was done, for example, before on the ETS, the EU emission trading system, was that it was only covering 40% of the emission of the EU. What about the 60%? Usually the 60% was covered, were covered in the national targets, right? That is set for every EU countries. Yeah, and this target is relative to your GDP and to the sector and to various sector. So in this package, what I believe they have done, what I have seen they have done, they have looked at rebalancing things a little bit more. Some of the key sectors, for example, maritime sector, right? Now it's covered under the ETS, but also the other scheme, which is the effort sharing regulation. That's the one covering the 60% of the part of the EU. So the question is that you could think about. It's definitely a step in the good direction. Now, How is it going to be implemented? That's very much the big question, and I'm hoping that this is what they will achieve, because the implementation will be very, very, very important. Yeah. So that's where I believe something needs to be done. So how are they going to implement that? Yeah. And what is the result that we're going to get? This is because all of that is aspirational. It still needs to be validated, because the EU is 26 countries, no, 26 or 20, because UK is gone now. I think it's 27 now, if I'm correct. Don't quote me on that. It may be 27 or 26. For some reason I forgot. But it still needs to be agreed at country level. Yeah, it still needs to be agreed at country level and see how things will be balanced. And also, as I say, it's not binding, and it's bounded at the European level, but not at country level, right? So this is where sometimes things can start going in in different directions. So I will be very happy to see that happen as well at a country level. But definitely is a good step forward. Making sure that as well that all those costs are not just passed down to consumers. That's very important, because you don't want a consumer to be absorbing all of those costs. You want companies to make the effort, and this is what we want to see. And definitely the fact that there is uh, this carbon border adjustment mechanism, definitely going to have a big impact for countries outside of Europe. And this is for me what everybody should be watching. Whether you're part of a mature economy that's outside of Europe, or you're a developing country, outside of Europe, you're going to be watching that. Why? Because the single market is the largest one in the world, right? So everybody want to trade in Europe. So you want to know that you're going to be impacted there. Yeah. So you're going to be you want to be watching that. I certainly watch that. I can tell you, for example, that because renewables in Africa, part of what we do, we are also a developer, right? Delivering engineering clean energy solutions to businesses looking to cut down the cost, but also have stable power and clearly boost their green credential. One of the company we're talking about, it was a country in Southern Africa. They definitely are looking to go carbon neutral by 2030, and it's a European company, for example. So I'm telling you that they clearly watching what is happening there. And I know, as I'm talking to them on a regular basis, I know this is part of what is driving their current action, wanting to go green. And they want to go green because this is a policy at company level. So that means across all the different factories that they have in the world. What are that factory? And I can tell you that company I'm referring to is a large company. I can't mention them, obviously, but it's a large company present in every continent, right? So you can already see how impact are felt. That's why I will say right at the beginning, yes, it may be happening in Europe, but it has impact in other parts as well. And this is what we want to be understanding. So the Fit for 55 for me, in summary, I would say it's a step in the good directions. There's some area that needs to be strengthened. For example, protection of consumer protection. That's very important. Increase the accountability. Yes, at country level, but also at companies level, and see how the different mechanisms that have been created, how they are interconnected, how they properly fit with one another. But the key thing is, how is it going to be implemented, and what are going to be the result? And I guess that's what we want to be watching. So I'm hoping that you have enjoyed that. It's a very quick, I would say, less than 20 minute analysis that I wanted to give you. So if you have questions, I'll be happy to take that and respond to that. Feel free to start dropping them right now. If there are no questions, everything is clear, great as well, right? Whether you're joining that even later, feel free to also leave your comment. And just for you to let you know, just in case you are interested jumping into the sector, want to get into this, change career, move from where you are to renewables energy, because I know there's a lot of people watching want to be doing that. The great thing is, so we actually releasing a short course, and it's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah, definitely tomorrow, or maybe the day after, but tomorrow. We do our best to do tomorrow. And it's going to be called How to Change Career and Join the Green Revolution, right? So, and that's already a way for you to kickstart your journey. So I'm going to be doing that. Definitely, you want to subscribe to this channel, you want to watch out your comment, and you want to just join our mailing list, right? So you can follow us on the different social media platform that we have. Definitely YouTube. So our LinkedIn as well, Facebook, Instagram. You know, we are also on Clubhouse. So you want to join that, and this is how we're sharing the news. Right? Join our newsletter and one of those things. You can definitely also reach out to me directly. So at Tony Chio on LinkedIn, and then I'm very busy, obviously. Do my best to respond whenever I can. If not, one of my colleagues will definitely respond to you. So yeah, this is it. That's what I had to share with you today. It's a beautiful day today outside, so I'm probably gonna go and have a walk with my son at some point. But it's important for me to keep the contact and to keep discussing with you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. So if there is any burning question, I'll jump on it right now. So if not, I'm just going to read this to you as well. So any burning question, you can let me know. Let me see. I give you a minute or two just to see. So otherwise, as I say, feel free to keep watching. Feel free to keep liking the video. Oh, by the way, thank you for the like. I just saw that. Appreciate that. So yeah, keep following us. Keep liking what we do, sharing the videos. You know, leave comment either now or afterward. That's great. One thing you want to know: on every Sunday we're having a live or we release a video, but we looking definitely to keep the communication going. So feel free to join. So in general, we join at 1 p.m. GMT time. Today I did it an hour earlier, simply because, as I said, I'm also a family man, so I have responsibility on Sunday. However, connecting with you is very important for me. Yeah, I can see there is no other questions. So I'm taking that my analysis was clear enough for you. And then I'm hoping that you have enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe. Yeah, do it and share. And that will be good. Yes, it's okay. No other question, right? So I can't see any. Yeah. So, and thank you for joining. And then if you missed what I've said before, do not worry, as I say, because it's just gonna go as a video on our channel just right now. So you can just watch it. You can leave your comment, you can like it, you can subscribe, you can reach out to us afterwards, right? Excellent. So you have a fantastic Sunday, and I can't wait to talk to you again next Sunday. Take care, guys. And may the sun be with you as usual. Good fellow.